Demonstrators march over USC decision to cancel valedictorian speech. Okay, first things first, for those of you listening in the UK or who didn't go to college, the valedictorian is the student who graduates top of the class. That's what a valedictorian is, and that's what the story's about. Well, the main thing it's about is pure mind-melting hypocrisy from the worst people on earth. That's what the story's really about. And I wasn't going to cover this. It was on the news a lot over the last few days. Didn't interest me enough. But some of the brazen, staggering hypocrisy that has emerged in the last few days beggars belief, and as usual, makes my enemies, the enemies of all free people and everything good and decent in the world, the woke, my enemies have shown themselves to be truly duplicitous, hypocritical, sadistic savages, basically. So I'm going to cover it. If brazen hypocrisy makes you sick, then grab a sick bag and strap yourself in, because this is going to make you bark your guts up. Los Angeles, hundreds of demonstrators gathered on the USC campus on Thursday amid a controversy over the cancellation of a speech by the school's valedictorian. Many students and faculty members are accusing the university of censorship for the decision to not allow Asna Tabassum to speak at commencement. Tabassum has expressed pro-Palestinian views, including some that have led to accusations of antisemitism. Let's just stop right there, okay? Pro-Palestinian views, possibly, maybe some accusations of anti-Semitism. Let's explore that, shall we? From FoxNews.com, which isn't a far-left activist website, the young lady in question is obviously a very devout practitioner of the religion of many, many pieces. And for those of you wondering, the reason I call it the religion of many, many pieces is because, well, get too close to some of the followers and piece of you over there, piece of you over there, piece of you up the tree. Right? That's why I use that synonym. Some of the things she posted to social media were blatantly, aggressively anti-Semitic. And I'm a free speech absolutist. I have a very, very high tolerance for people slagging off Israel or Palestine or whoever they like. It's up to them. I think the only speech that should be regulated is full-blown incitement to violence. And some of the stuff she posted was exactly that. She liked Instagram posts from Trojans for Palestine and called for the complete abolition of Israel. And when these people say the complete abolition of Israel and from the river to the sea, they don't mean, oh, what we'll do is we'll pick them up and we'll just pop them into centre parks. Yeah, they can all live there and spend out the days, swimming round the pleasure dome. That's not what they're going to do to them. I'll give you a clue what they're going to do to them. How can I put this politely? There's about 10 million people live there, and when they're finished with them, you could fit them in a large suitcase, right? I'll just leave it at that. So, naked hatred. And now, all of a sudden, they're obsessed with freedom of speech. Yeah. You mean the thing that people like me have been talking about for the last 10 years, and they all scoffed at and said, there's no such thing as cancel culture. No such thing. You've got freedom of speech. Really? Let's just pick some of the things that you've cancelled people for who didn't suggest mass murder was acceptable. I'll just pull 3 or 4 out of my arse, shall I? We know there's thousands, but I'll just pick a couple. USC cancels gaming panel due to lack of diversity. That's right, USC cancelled them, and nobody even said or did anything. They just didn't like the look of them. Yeah, cheers then. USC students decry Ben Shapiro's speech as threat to minorities' safety. An attempt to sabotage the event. Yeah, so one of the most annoying but polite people in the digital space, right? That's what I can say about him. I'm not a big fan. Very irritating, smug, and there's all kinds of things you can slag him off for. But being aggressive and impolite is not one of them, ever. And they were happy to A, cancel him, and B, get a little bit violent. which is what attempts to sabotage the event mean. And we'll do one more from USC, just to drive the point home, even though there's really no requirement to. Their mind-melting hypocrisy has been proven beyond any reasonable doubt. USC suspend a communications professor for saying a Chinese word that sounds a bit like a different word. Greg Patton was describing a Chinese filler word, which led to a temporary suspension. I trust I've made the point. USC cancelled gamers because they didn't like the look of them, cancelled an extremely polite mainstream media personality and got a little bit violent, and cancelled the bloke for saying something in a foreign language that sounds a little bit like something in English. Okay? And now, what do we get? Naked hatred, delivered with a face twisted in rage. And when they say, sorry, we're not going to mistreat you in any way, we just don't want you to give your speech because we're worried that in the middle of your speech, you'll start talking about sticking people in the shower with a capsule of Zyklon B, all of a sudden, freedom of speech. Ooh, they're after our freedom of speech. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you, does it get any more staggeringly hypocritical? Does it? I can't think of anything more hypocritical. If Elton John was plunging into Boy George whilst batting away sailors' dicks, and then he stopped mid-thrust and said, you know what I can't stand? The gay community. Even that wouldn't be as hypocritical. It just wouldn't be, right? So, once again, reasonable people of the left, I have to ask you a simple question. Do you want to start seeing things my way? Do you want to side with me and reluctantly hold your nose and put a cross in the box for the Orange Oracle? Or are you happy being represented with staggering, galloping, mind-melting hypocrisy, duplicity, delusion, and naked hate? Just asking the question. Just asking the question. But that's just what I think. If you think USC is not at all hypocritical and they're perfectly reasonable and there's definitely no such thing as cancel culture, please let me know in the comments, please, because I love nothing more than engaging with the dumbest people on planet Earth. All right? Thank you for tuning in. As always, have a marvellous weekend. I'm not streaming tomorrow because I'm going to see my mother-in-law. She is a mother-in-law, but she's a hell of a cook. So, that's what I'm doing. Have a great weekend. See you all very soon. Keep your chins up and toodle pip. Cheers.